Hi, I'm Nicole and this is my son Robin, and we're about to go on a little adventure around Royal Victoria Park in Bath with local wildlife expert Dan Merritt from Bathscape. As you can see, Robin's really excited to get going. We're doing the first of several wildlife films about City Nature Challenge, encouraging you to get the iNaturalist app and have a go yourself. And it's for the City Nature Challenge, which takes part in 400 cities all over the world between the 30th of April and the 3rd of May for 4 days. So let's get started. So here's Dan, hi.
Hi.
And you're from Bathscape.
Yep.
So could you maybe tell everyone a little bit more about what Bathscape is?
Yeah, sure. So Bathscape is a partnership project, and it's 12 different partners who've come together around the city, and we're looking to help manage the setting of Bath in a better way for wildlife and for heritage, and also get more people out there as well. So it's led by the council and funded by the National Lottery, and we want to encourage everybody out to enjoy our fantastic countryside and our town parks too.
Lovely. So that leads on nicely to the next question. Here we are in one of the biggest and probably most famous of the Bath town parks. Why start here for spotting nature?
Parks are great because you get all sorts of different habitats within parks. So here we've got a pond behind us here with a lake with the ducks on it. We've got the trees and the kind of undergrowth there as well, but we also get kind of big expanses of wide grass as well. So there's all sorts of different habitats you find, and they're easy to get to. So you can reach your local park, and wildlife can reach it too. If it's wildlife living in the park, in the city, it's going to congregate in the park. So lots of good things to see.
Okay, I'm excited to get started.
Let's go.
So we've just stopped here because over to our left we saw two really common urban birds.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about those?
Yeah, sure. Magpies. So magpies are a funny bird. They're one of my favourite birds, in fact, if not my very favourite. But kind of maligned because people think they're kind of robbing birds' nests from other species. But one of those birds you see a lot of in cities, and you'll find them in most parks. But they're a beautiful, beautiful bird. You know, they're kind of black and white colour, just absolutely fantastic. And you'll find them more in a park here than you would see them out in the countryside. And above us, we've also got wood pigeon.
Pigeon up
there,
there, yeah.
of course, as well. And the BTO for their bird survey found that people were finding them much more in suburban areas than they were in the countryside. It's another bird that you're more likely to see in a park than if you go onto the nature reserve. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them there. They're right at the top of the tree plucking berries.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
the park's
Eating the buds off,
providing
aren't
what
they?
they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just about to start their kind of mating as well at the moment. They're pairing up, so it's quite a good time to see them.
Lovely. So we've stopped here, Dan, because it's just a really beautiful spot. It caught our eyes, and we naturally came to a stop here.
Yes.
Can you tell us about what we can see?
Yeah, so this is a good example of the park where you get all sorts of a mix, I guess, of planted plants, garden varieties. Like we've got the daffodils in here, and we've got the bluebells. We've got some of the Spanish bluebells in here. We've got the fritillaries which have been planted, but you're also getting kind of wilder plants coming through as well.
As we've been stood here, I've noticed there's some little tracks through the grass as well, and I assume that's not just people coming up and looking at the flowers.
It's not, no. This is actually badger tracks coming through, so we get quite a few badgers in the park as well. So come the evening, you'll find badgers around here. There's also foxes, of course. I mean, Bristol and Bath, famous for their foxes, especially Bristol. Yeah, we get a lot of good numbers of them. And then in the evenings, we get bats. It's a fantastic spot for bats in parks, most parks, to be honest. But we do quite a lot of bat walks here in the late summer in our walking festival.
And Bath in particular is really good for bats, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Special place for bats.
Yes, we have a few rarer species as well, but you'll see good numbers of bats here on any good evening in the summer.
Lovely. And then we were talking about maybe heading towards the woods to see if we can see any other little mammals hiding.
Yeah, I think so. We'll wander on and see what we can find.
Let's do it. So Dan, we found squirrels.
Yes, you're never short of squirrels in Victoria Park, and so tame as well. You can see that people feed them, so they're quite used to coming up close to you.
And I suppose that's a nice thing about urban wildlife and looking at wildlife in parks, is that they are used to people.
Yes, yeah, it applies to a lot of the species. You'll get a lot closer to animals in a park than you would do in a nature reserve often. And of course the grey squirrel, they weren't here 100 years ago. It was all red squirrels.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask about that. So we have grey squirrels all around Bath and Bristol, but they do have this red tinge that can sometimes confuse people.
Yeah, they molt in the year, so they go through a spell where they're kind of redder, more gingery, I guess. But they're quite a bit bigger than the red squirrel. They don't have those kind of nice tufts on the ears.
Yeah. So it's, people don't worry if you see a reddy one in parks, it's definitely a grey squirrel, unfortunately.
Yes, no longer reds here.
So we've done some mammals, we've done some birds, we've done some plants. What's next?
Let's find some mini beasts, shall we?
So Dan, you just had a little scrabble around in the compost pile there. What have you found?
Yeah, well, I found a slug at first, and now we've got a nice look at that. Lovely centipede on there.
Yeah.
So you get them, the kind of rock-dwelling ones are lifted, or the earth-dwelling ones. This is obviously one in the soil. So he's getting a bit unhappy about being out in the sunshine. So I'll pop him back in the middle a minute, but it's lovely, isn't he?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, so I suppose as we move from spring into summer, we're going to see more of things like butterflies and bees, but hiding amongst the undergrowth, you will find these other creepy crawlies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, by the time of City Nature Challenge, there should be all sorts out. As you say, there's going to be lots of bees and butterflies and all sorts of lovely things to find. But any time of year in a park, you can always dig around and find something.
Yeah. So the last thing to say is just a big thank you to you, Dan, for sharing your knowledge with us and telling us a bit more about Bathscape. And is there anything else you'd like to finish by saying?
No, just say you're very welcome. It's been really nice to get out. Nice to see you, of course, Nicole. And get out there and enjoy it.